What's up, Razorback fans? Welcome back to 4th and 5. I'm your host, Josh Throne, and we have got an incredible episode lined up for you today. As always, we're diving into the best viewer comments from the past week. And let me tell you, you all brought the heat this past week. We're talking about everything from defensive backs and why they don't go up with two hands to intercept the ball to the age-old question, is it the scheme or is it execution that's holding us back? And spoiler alert, it might be a little bit of both. But that's not all. One of you made a great point about Taylen Green missing some open receivers and whether Malachi Singleton might actually be the better fit for this offense. We're breaking it all down, comparing their styles, and looking at what needs to change for Arkansas to hit its stride. And let's not forget about the big picture. Does Bobby Petrino's offensive philosophy still hold up in today's game? Has the rest of college football caught up to him? Or is it just about getting the right players to execute his vision? We'll explore all that in detail. Plus, we're going to be shouting out some diehard fans, like one of you that drove 10 hours to watch the game in person. I hate that you had to drive 10 hours just to watch Arkansas lose to Texas in that fashion. But hey, we didn't get blown out at least. We made it a game when we came back in the second half, and that's always better than, I guess, getting blown out, right? Well, that's next level dedication from that guy, so we can't wait to hear from him. And we'll get into why those kind of efforts make Razorback Nation one of the best fan bases in the country. But before we dive into all that, let me remind you that this channel is proudly presented by Ortho Arkansas. Whether you're recovering from an injury, prepping for a surgery, or just need top-tier orthopedic care, Ortho Arkansas has the best surgeons, the best facilities, and the best resources in the state. Big thanks to them for keeping us going. DJ and I love Ortho Arkansas. DJ always says if you got a knee, you got a back, you got a neck, you got a joint of any kind, Ortho Arkansas is the hospital that you need to go to. It's down in Little Rock. The orthopedic hospital is absolutely amazing. Ortho Arkansas has the best surgeons in the state, really in the country. They have one of the most amazing facilities down there. So big thanks to them for keeping us going. Now let's just go ahead and get into the comments. First up, we've got a great question from Rich Nolan. He said, why don't our defensive backs go up with two hands and try to catch the ball? Rich, I'm telling you right now, man, you've hit on something that every football fan has asked themselves at some point. And I think everybody that was watching that play asked themselves when they saw it. I know that I was in the stands texting Matt Harris and going, hey, man, is that a pick? Should that have been a pick? Let's go ahead and break it down, though. Defensive backs are in an extremely unique position. It's not like playing receiver where, you have one job and that's to go get the ball. I'm not worried about what the defensive players are doing. They're often running full speed. They're tracking the ball and they're trying to make a play while staying in phase with the receiver. Now, in this particular play, this safety made a great play on the ball. His primary focus oftentimes for DBs is to disrupt the pass because they don't always have an opportunity to just pick off every single ball. They want to get a hand in on it. They want to knock it down, and they live to fight another down. Coaches drill this into them all the time. Knock it down, knock it down, knock it down, because it's a safer play. Going up for an interception is often riskier because if you misjudge it, you don't high point it, et cetera, you might miss that opportunity and then the receiver makes a better play on the ball. It could result in a big gain or even a touchdown if the DB doesn't time it up perfectly. So here's the thing. Elite DBs, elite defensive backs, those are the ones who consistently make interceptions. They have a combination of traits. They trust their hands, they have excellent ball tracking skills, and most importantly, they know when to take the risk, right? It's situational awareness. If it's third and long, you might want to play it safe and swat the ball down. But if it's a deep shot on a first down, oftentimes that's your moment to go up with two hands and just make the play. In this particular case, look, I love that our defensive back knocked the ball down. You're playing Texas. You want to make the safe play. I get it. It takes plays like that to get those interceptions to beat a team like Texas, but I'm not knocking the kid for going up and knocking it down. He did what he's trained to do, but it's that confidence and those instincts. When you got guys on the field like Tyrann Mathieu or Jalen Ramsey, those are the type of DBs that they just trust themselves so much and their ability to go up and make a play because they've done it 1,000 times in practice. So For younger DBs or guys still earning their spot, they might hesitate on something like that. It's a that split second hesitation. That's the difference between, an interception and a broken up pass. All right, great question, Rich, man. Keep them coming. We appreciate you watching, appreciate you commenting. And before we move on, let's take a moment and thank our sponsor for this segment, Ellis Home Inspections. If you're buying or selling a home, you need a home inspector. You need somebody that you can trust to inspect every nook and cranny. Patrick Ellis brings over 2 decades of military experience to the table. And let me tell you right now, that is the kind of discipline and attention to detail that you want. That's exactly what you want in a home inspector. Don't take shortcuts when it comes to your home. Get it done right with Ellis Home Inspections. You guys go to the link in our description for more info. Thanks again, Patrick. We really appreciate you sponsoring our show. He's been there with us from the very beginning. And DJ and I couldn't be happier with him and Ellis Home Inspections and sponsoring this. So let's move on to the next comment. Ryan Campbell. All right, Ryan. Ryan said, you should mention how many times there was a pocket to step up into, talking about Taylen Green, and throw the ball instead of trying to scramble. It happens quite often, actually. Or maybe recognizing pressure, hitting the hot route. Ryan, I mean, if you could be in the stands with us, up in the press box or watching the game, Matt and I talking about this during the game, texting back and forth. This is the observation of the day, right? Taylen Green's athleticism is like both a blessing and a curse. He's one of the most dynamic runners that we've seen in a while, but that mobility sometimes becomes a crutch. When you watch the tape, you'll notice that there's plenty of moments where the offensive line gives him a clean pocket to step up into, but instead he bails, often out to the side, and he runs himself into pressure. Now, let's talk about recognizing pressure and hitting the hot route. This is where pre-snap reads become crucial, right? A quarterback has to diagnose the defense at the line of scrimmage. Are they showing any blitzes? Is the safety creeping down? Where's the weak spot? The hot route is designed to counter these blitzes and overloaded pressure. So if Taylen recognizes the blitz and gets the ball out quickly to a receiver on a slant or a quick out, it not only avoids a sack, but it often turns into a big gain. You saw LSU do this to us a lot. They recognize the pressure and they get it to the receiver who's wide open. So, man, Ryan, we appreciate you watching. Let's see how Taylen adjusts in these coming games, because we've got a big game coming up against Louisiana Tech this weekend. All right, our third comment, the Truth Soldier 5757. And he said, I drove 10 hours for that game from Kentucky. Taylen missed so many guys downfield. All right. First of all, True Soldier, props, brother. Props to you for making that drive. That's dedication. But yeah, missing open receivers downfield was a reoccurring issue for Taylen Green. And when you've got weapons like Tyrone Broden, Andrew Armstrong, Isaiah Santana, you've got to be able to take advantage of them. There was at least a couple moments and instances in the last game where Taylen had a clean pocket. He missed Santana on a post route. He missed Andrew Armstrong on a post route. Man, look, he's got the arm strength to make those throws, but his timing is sometimes off. And when you miss those opportunities, it's not that it just leaves points off the board, but it frustrates the entire offense. You got to think about Isaiah Santana on that one pass. I mean, you got to think he's begging for that back so that he can score a touchdown. It's got to get frustrating, but you know what? It feels like that's just the story of our season. We've always just been this close. We're just this close. We appreciate you watching. Thanks for commenting, brother. All right, Razorback fans, let's take a quick break and talk about something that can make your weekends even more exciting. The Oaklawn Sports app. Football season is in full swing, and if you love the game, then there's no better way to get in on the action. Whether you're into the outright winners, spreads, totals, player props, game props, whatever, you name it, you can probably bet on it with the Oaklawn Sports app. And it's not just about football. Oaklawn has you covered across tons of sports, basketball, both NCAA men's and women's, the NBA, WNBA, et cetera, et cetera. There's so much more within the app. You guys got to go check it out. There's always something to bet on. So you ain't got to bet. And with DJ and I always say this, you don't have to bet. But if you're going to, if that's your thing, Oaklawn Sports app is where it's at. So here's the best part. If you're new to the Oaklawn Sports app, you can now earn up to $1,000 in bonus bets. Yes, you heard it right. It's super simple. Once you make your first deposit, you're automatically enrolled in their promotion. And for the first 10 days, you'll get a second chance on your first bet each day for up to $100 in bonus bets per day. There's a potential $1,000 just waiting for you. Seriously. So what are you waiting for? Download the Oaklawn Sports app today from the Apple Store or Google Play Store and check out all the details and the rules that might be in the app. Make your bets, enjoy your games, and take your fandom to the next level with Oaklawn Sports. Good luck. I always tend to lose my money, man. My bets are terrible. So I'm going to let you guys stick with that. Y'all tell me who you're betting on. That way I can just, place my bets based on how you guys are winning y'all's money. All right, next comment. We've got Ebony Knight. Ask a great question. Does Coach Petrino's offensive philosophy still work as well as it did during his first stint on the Hill? Specifically, is it too similar to what everyone else does right? Well, this is an interesting question, because I often tell people this. Coach Petrino is a phenomenal coach. He is an offensive guru. His offensive mind is, superior to anybody else I've ever been around. But when we look at what he did at Arkansas, when he came here in 2008, I always try to make people understand that he inherited a pretty good Houston Nutt team. There was a lot of talent and leadership on that Houston Nutt team that Bobby Petrino took over. Then he also had that 2008 class as well. That 2008 class might have been the most talented in-state recruiting class ever. So when you pair up inherited great offensive line and talented players all around the field, and then you also get the best recruiting in-state recruiting class in maybe Arkansas history, I just think that the stars aligned for him to have so much success. Not to say that he's not capable of doing it again. I just think that had a lot to do with it. That had a lot to do with it. So, Petrino's offense obviously was revolutionary a decade ago, but football is always evolving. The spread concepts and vertical passing game, Petrino mastered are now kind of staples across college football. But in the same situation, I think that it doesn't just come down to coaching. I think it comes down to players. To me, Arkansas is one of those schools that, every so often we're going to make a run for it. But it's going to require that, that in-state recruiting class, us to really land our top-tier talented guys, and then pair that up with some good NIL situations and a great offensive mind like Coach Petrino, and I think he can really do something special. So the plays are there. It's just a matter of putting it all together. Okay, next up, Desnez7 says, Petrino has the schemes for the most part, but execution is the issue. Well, spot on. Execution is everything in football. You can have the best play call in the world, but if one guy misses his assignment, the whole thing falls apart. All it takes is one offensive lineman to get confused and the quarterback sacked. So this season, we've seen moments where the offense has looked unstoppable, and then a missed block or miscommunication derails the whole drive. So the good news is that execution can improve with practice and repetition. That's why I said in one of my videos earlier this week that, there's an argument to be made in this whole coaching debate, whether Pittman should have another season after this, et cetera, that a year two Petrino offense under Pittman is going to improve, and our defense can improve as well. So, practice and repetition, especially in a complicated offense like Petrino's, I think it matters, and the talent's there. It's just a matter of getting all 11 guys on the same page. Petrino's schemes are good enough to win games. Now it's about the players stepping up and actually making it happen, right? So thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate the viewer comments. Huge thanks to Ortho Arkansas for being a presenting sponsor of our show, to Ellis Home Inspections for supporting this segment. And don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments below. We will feature the best ones in next week's episode. And as always, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss an episode. I'm Josh Throne, and I'll see you next time. Woo Pig Suey, and stay tuned this week. DJ's got a breakdown with Grant Cook coming with the offensive line. Matt Harris is going to be breaking down some of the defense from last week, and we're actually going to take a look forward at La Tech as well. So we look forward to seeing you. You're watching 4th and 5.